Hey everyone, Kevin here. Today I felt the need to address something when it comes to leaving the classroom. Moving from teaching into corporate is not all sunshine and roses, and you're going to have to accept a whole new host of problems. Now, I'm sure you're saying, well, yeah, of course it's going to be tough. You've said it before yourself, which, in all fairness, I have said numerous times. However, I wanted to be more specific about it than I have in the past because transitioning teachers often are exposed to nothing but the success stories about how the grass is greener on the other side of teaching, which, in all fairness, it is for the most part. I mean, you're no longer going to have to manage hundreds of screaming and violent students anymore, or be forced to teach the tests you know provide meaningless data. You won't have to sacrifice your mental and physical health by coming into work when you are burned out or sick. You won't need to cater to administrator demands that make no sense, stay up late making subplans, or answering emails on your own time. Helping students manage their own traumas, spend your money on classroom supplies, or worry about when the next time you get to go to the bathroom is. Believe me, there is clearly a long list of positives here, and I promoted them countless times myself. But there are things you need to take into account as you delve into this process, which aren't fun and where you will struggle. Layoffs being one major example. Now, I'm not saying layoffs don't happen in education. I mean, they're happening right now, along with newer teachers getting non reelected, but they don't happen all that often, really. Even this latest wave of layoffs in education only happened after the cataclysm that was the pandemic, and the last time was the Great Recession. In corporate, layoffs happen all the time, and they're particularly bad right now. I've been out of work for nearly 6 months, and I'm worried, as are so many others right now in the tech and other related fields as a whole, since they're seriously contracting right now. It's actually the worst time to transition out of teaching than it ever has been, considering how few jobs are being added every month. Sure, when I was a teacher, I was always worried about paying bills because of how low my pay was in comparison to the standard of living, but teachers do have at least reasonable job security. It does take a long series of issues for educators to lose their jobs. And that's one of the main reasons why teachers have a hard time making the leap out of education in the first place, even if it's the right thing to do. They don't want to lose that job security, and I definitely didn't want to either. Now that I'm on the other side and have experienced a layoff and projected job search, though, I can safely tell you that it really sucks. I'm worried that my bills won't get paid next month or that my unemployment benefits are going to give out when I really need them. As I just said, I never had that issue as a teacher because even when I didn't have a full time position, I could substitute and still make a decent income until I found something more permanent. There's really no such thing as subbing in corporate. You either have a job or you don't. Plus, you have to do so much to stay current with the new trends and information that's always coming out. In education, you were the subject matter expert all the time. And since there was no real career advancement opportunities, there was no reason to grow your abilities beyond attending a few random conferences here and there. Now, learning all the new technologies, tools, and maintaining my understanding of the ones I used to use is draining. There are times where I plan out doing some needed upskilling and just find myself unable to commit to even starting it because of how difficult it is for me to focus on that work. That's kind of me with all the new storyline updates right now, to be honest. And on top of all that, the realism that your resume will just never be good enough for all the jobs that you might apply to. And there might be thousands of positions you apply to and only get 5 interviews out of that. I've mentioned before that teacher interviews were always kind of a joke, and you often got called for interviews very quickly. Unless you're a unicorn or are really lucky, that won't happen outside of education. You will fight like hell to apply to jobs that you're clearly qualified for and still get a rejection just a few hours later. It's hard out there, really, and it's something people need to acknowledge. But I would still never go back to teaching. I can turn off at the end of the day, feel like my bosses respect and pay me well, and can pursue my hobbies on the weekends without having the Sunday scaries, even while stuck in a long period of unemployment. No one can put a price on that. So, do I still think that you should probably leave teaching? Absolutely, yes. Is it as greener and full of rainbows as you hear from those who have succeeded? Well, not exactly. You're going to experience a lot of hardships and worries you never had to before. But it is either that or stay in a job that is making you totally miserable. The choice is yours, but I felt that you needed to hear both sides of the transitioning story before making up your mind. But with that, I will end here for the day. Stay safe, and as always, I'm here to help should you ever need it. See you next time.